Welcome into the DMVstream.com High School Game of the Week as the Chantilly Chargers have traveled west on Route 50 to face the Westfield Bulldogs. Hi, I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by former UVA star Junior Burrow. Of course, also some time in the pros for Junior. And we'll also be joined by our sideline reporters, Monica Moore and Brian Gardner. Junior, rivalry game here for Westfield and Chantilly. I know in your career, especially at UVA, you had those rivals, Virginia Tech and Maryland. What type of feelings does a rivalry game conjure up?
Well, it's all about the records. It's not about any of those things. It's about going out there against somebody you're very familiar with and you want to win the game. It's a passion. It's on the field. It's on the court, off the court stuff. You see each other in the summer times a lot. These are the kind of guys and games that you want to definitely run across. Speaking of Virginia Tech, you want to make sure you beat them. You want to make sure you beat the Marylands because you see them all summer. And I'm pretty sure this is the same kind of game. The schools are very close together, and you definitely want to beat them if you got an opportunity to do it.
Should be an interesting one as these two teams have played, obviously, since the opening of Westfield. Have always looked to go ahead and beat one another. Of course, start things off with our players to watch in this contest for Westfield and Chantilly. We'll start off with Chantilly, the visitors in this one, Dylan Madawu. We got to pass on the news. DeAndre Harris will not play in this one as a indefinite suspension, so Madawu going to have to step it up a little bit, Junior.
Well, right. You're talking about a guy that has the ability to do those kind of things. He's a slasher. He's a point guard. He has a lot of ability. Now it's a chance for him to show he can lead this basketball team. You're missing your best player, the star. And here's a guy that has the opportunity to go out there and do it. And I think he has those abilities. We'll see tonight.
It'll be interesting, as Coach Smith told us, that Madawu, a guy, got to trust that outside shot. We'll see if he can do that tonight. Moving over to Westfield, and their player to watch in this one, it's the sophomore, Blake Francis, has put up some good numbers this season and is really doing a good job for Westfield as they get better and better on the year.
Absolutely. He's somebody, obviously coming from another school, coming here now and just getting an opportunity to really trust his game and hitting the team. He's the leader of this basketball team. He's the tip of the sword. Every time you're point guard, when he learns, when he goes, that's when you get better. He has an opportunity to be really good. He has all the tools, has an opportunity to be that guy. He shoots the ball really well. Now he has to get those other guys involved. They're on the road. Let's see if it happens.
Of course, in this game, we also have two longtime coaches in Doug Ewell for Westfield, also Jim Smith for Chantilly. The guys have been around, have gone against each other for a good long time. We'll start things off checking in with Chantilly and their head coach, Jim Smith, who caught up with our Brian Gardner.
Well, Coach, obviously a rivalry game. What does it mean to come here to Westfield?
Well, Chantilly-Westfield is always a big rivalry. We played them in huge games over the years, district tournament games. Anytime we come here, no matter what the record is, it's always a great basketball game. So it's just always a great atmosphere, always great crowds. So it's a game that we look forward to each year.
You're playing without your leading scorer. How do the Chargers adjust and get a win here in enemy territory today?
Well, we're going to have to defend well. We've been a good defensive team all year. This year, hopefully we can turn them over, get some easy buckets, and do a good job on the defensive end.
Thanks, Coach. Have fun out there.
Of course, Coach Smith may be looking to ruin senior night for Coach Ewell's crew. Of course, also our Monica Moore able to catch up with Coach Doug Ewell before this contest.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Westfield head coach Doug Ewell. Coach, you've seen this Chantilly team already this season. What are the things you expect to do different tonight?
Defense. We got to do a better job playing defense. If we do a good job there, rebound the basketball, we should be in good shape.
And obviously you're coming off a win against Robinson. What were the things that you were most pleased with about your team's performance in that game?
We did a really good job of transitioning offense and defense that game. So if we continue that, we'll hopefully have another good chance tonight.
You've gotten a big offensive lift out of Blake Francis this season. Can you talk about what he's brought to the team?
Blake shoots the ball really well. He's been a quiet leader. He's just having a little bit more patience the second half of the season, which has really helped him scoring the ball.
Coach, best of luck tonight.
Of course, thanks to both coaches for joining us here in the pregame. Want to take a quick look at our keys to the game, Junior. Starting off for Westfield, obviously front and center has to be the absence of DeAndre Harris and how they react to it.
Right, you got to make sure that you're going to go out there and be able to play. This is not the first time. They had a couple of days to deal with this. They know what they're dealing with now. You have to go out there and show you guys that the role players basically are going to come out here and play tonight. It's a big game. It's a rivalry game. They have the opportunity to step up, and here's the chance to do it.
And the other thing you have to look at, the physicality, really both coaches talking about it, Coach Ewell especially for Westfield, a little bit, I don't say afraid, but definitely wary of how physical this Chantilly team can be.
It's part of the scouting report. I mean, if you're going to come on the road and you're going to bring physicality, you're going to give your team an opportunity to win the game. And that's the most important part of all of it. Bring something in here. Let them know right away that you're not here to lose the game. You come in here to play. We're going to play it all together. Let's see what happens.
Couple quick keys for Westfield in this contest. One of them, as I think every coach always says, take care of that basketball.
Right, you're in a rivalry game. There's a little bit more emotion, you know, a little carefree with the ball, maybe trying to do too much. You want to make sure those turnovers are down early. You want to make sure they're down at all, but you want to take care of the basketball. It's very important.
And also looking to get those stops. I think Coach Ewell felt last time out against the Chargers, his team just didn't do that.
Well, if you're doing the scouting report, it should be made a lot easier if your best scorer is not in it. So they should have a problem. They should be able to guard these guys a little bit better. And maybe if they can find these guys and maybe see if they can do some other things. They're missing 18 points out of their lineup, so let's see.
Be very interesting to see exactly how this one goes as we get into it. Of course, senior night here as they've gone ahead and done the early things. I think they're going to give the guys a chance to warm up. I want to real talk quickly about how this one kind of sets up as they move in. I know some people are a little bit they're just, I personally myself don't know exactly how they've changed the playoff system in Virginia. As opposed to everything going into the northern region, they're going into now, they've split the state into two separate halves basically and kind of gone that way. It's an interesting thing when this game, really not much has changed for the two teams. It's basically the top four out of the conference, the what we call Conference 5 now, we used to be the old Concord District, moves on. So that'll be interesting to see. And really, you kind of look at it, that playoff positioning and playing in postseason. I guess you're an old guy who's had yourself definitely some runs, definitely at Virginia when you were there. You know, how much is that when you kind of want to make your mark late in your career, getting that chance to go play in the playoffs and can maybe put a banner up on the wall?
Well, the thing about it is that it's so confusing what you just talked about. The funny part about it, we were talking before we got on air, that we're not really sure what's going to happen. The best way to go out is just to win the game. You know, if you continue to win basketball games, you get an opportunity to advance. And the bottom line is to do that is that, you know, whether you're facing adversity for either one of the teams, whether you go out here and play as hard as you possibly can, these are the kind of things you really want to do. It's the last game of the regular season, and you want to make sure senior night for one team, and you just want to make sure it's an emotional group. Let's go out here and win this basketball game, and let's try to take that into our conference tournament, conference championships. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to look to do. If you're not familiar with exactly how things are setting up for both these squads, Westfield comes into this game at 3-6 in the Conference 5 standings. If you're not familiar with Conference 5, and it'd be tough not to be, as well as they've done over the years, the Concord District, you've got Herndon, you've got Robinson, you've got Oakton, you've got these two teams, and you have Centerville. Just 6 teams, but 6 very competitive teams as they move throughout, always in all sports really kind of get after each other. Of course, right now, Westfield at number 5 at 3-6, Chantilly sitting at 4-5. Basically, these teams will have a shot if they can win this game tonight to move up one more spot in the pecking order in the conference, and obviously that's big. Really, both teams will have to play in that play-in round. There won't be a bye there, but you know, and you'd be a guy who knows this from playing your tournament days at Virginia in high school. You know, that extra day, sometimes it's a good thing, but usually we've seen plenty of teams, especially lately, it's almost like you get that extra day to kind of get your legs under you, where if you have the bye early, you're kind of a little bit cold going to that first game.
Let's talk. I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's talk about the Big East tournament. You know, it starts on Wednesdays now. It used to start on Wednesday with all those teams that now have all left the Big East. The first thing you have is that Wednesday game. And most of the teams that played on Wednesday, statistically, they were able to play on the Sundays because they had gotten a rhythm. And those teams that got the double byes and they end up losing. So right now, the most important part for both of these teams is you can get this win tonight and feel good about yourself. You're going to play in that game, but it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm about winning. It's execution. If you can win tonight, whether it be either team, Chantilly or Westfield, that's going to help you for your next game. And now you're sitting in a situation where you're just playing confident because you won 2 games or 3 games back-to-back. That's the most important part of all of this. And that's how you advance, because of confidence, because it's going to come from somebody else. You know, in all these tournaments, you're going to need somebody else to show up, whether it be rebounding, scoring, free throw percentage, being able to be a defender. Those are the kind of things that are going to show up for you when these tournaments come up. You don't know who's going to be the hero for you in those games. You just want everybody to show up and play as hard as they can. Now,
of course, you made a mention of it kind of getting hot at the right time. It looks like Westfield may be doing that this season. Their last few times out, they've had some very good results. Of course, their last game coming, a win over Robinson, a pretty impressive win over Robinson, the number 2 team, 70-57. Before that, fell to first place, Herndon by 5. Before that, a win over Centerville, then a 1-point loss to Oakton. Westfield kind of coming on, and Coach Yule told us before the game, really, one of the things that has been an interesting thing for his team, and so a position he hasn't been in as of late because he's had so many senior-dominated teams, that he has a young team this year that has gotten better throughout the season. And, you know, when you're talking about youth, there's an old saying, you're only a freshman at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, you're not a freshman anymore.
Well, the thing about he's also talking about now the confidence of young guys. Now, so you've gotten all these wins. You even lost close. That's the best part about this for them. They've shown you that if they can stay together, they can put on a run. And once you get the confidence, then it doesn't matter what age group you are. You have those kind of things. I tell you what, this point guard play is going to be really key. Blake is going to be really key tonight and see what he can do out here. If he plays well, it'll be awesome.
And right now, we're going to take a quick break for our national anthem as we get ready to bring you this matchup between Westfield and Chantilly.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so heavy we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And a wonderful rendition of the national anthem. We're almost ready for basketball here at Westfield. Time for our starting lineups. They're brought to you by Evolution Basketball Training, the DC area's top training program with over 115 college players that have been developed through their program. They have the experience and knowledge to help you succeed. They have training facilities in Ashburn, Fairfax, and Springfield and run programs year-round, including camps, clinics, private and small group training, and basketball strength and conditioning. Check them out on the web at www.evolutionbasketball.com. We'll start things off with the visiting Chantilly Chargers coming to this one, 10-10 on the season, 4-5 in conference play under longtime head coach Jim Smith. Smith going with a 4-guard lineup in this contest. Number 5, Rayshawn Smith, the 5'10 senior guard. Also the 5'11 senior guard, number 10, Ben McGrath. Number 12, the 6'3 senior guard, Mark Anstus. Also to guard spot, number 20, Dylan Madawu, averaging 11.4 points per game. He's your leading scorer, considering that Harris is out of this contest for Chantilly. Also in the middle will be the forward, 6'3 senior Mo Abu Hantash. On the other side of things for the Westfield Bulldogs at 9-12 on the season, 3-6 in Conference 5 play. They go a little more traditional lineup. It's the sophomore Blake Francis, number 0, 5'10 guard. Also at a guard spot will be number 11, Jacob Williams, 5'10 junior guard. At a forward spot, number 4, Patrick Lawless, a 6'2 junior. Also at the other forward, it will be number 12, Cole Brown, a 6'3 junior. And in the middle will be number 22, Zach Sheehan, the 6'5 junior center. Again, those are your starting lineups for this contest, brought to you by Evolution Basketball Training.
Wow, that was very good.
I appreciate that.
You put a lot of stuff out there for us right there. Those are our referees.
Stafford, Farmer, Lee, also Mike Goodrich, and Stephen Marino will go ahead and call this contest. We are almost ready for basketball here at Westfield. Westfield in the white, Chantilly in the black, and we are underway as Chantilly controls the opening tap.
The thing about it is when you're dealing with this many guards on the floor, you want to be careful. These referees get to calling some things. How they're going to call the game is going to be very important.
And a quick start for Chantilly as Abu Hantash brings that one down. And now a 2-0 start and a quick pressure the other way for Chantilly.
Got to find a way to get Blake off early. You want to get your guy going at home in a rivalry game. You want to get your leading scorer going early.
Quick jump shot at the foul line goes down for Jacob Williams, and we're all tied at 2.
You would think with all these guards on the floor that Chantilly would switch those kind of things, but we won't talk about defensive principles at this point. It's too early for that.
No, I tell you what, though, it is interesting that matchup between the two styles and the two lineups are out there. Hontosh down low, misses the hook shot, and Westfield quickly the other way. Kick into the corner, three-pointer up and off the iron, no good. Brought down by Hontosh on the.
Hello, and thank you for viewing this portion of our recent broadcast. This concludes the free viewing experience for this broadcast. If you're interested in viewing the remainder of this broadcast, you can simply click the Add to Cart button below this video where it says Download a Copy. You can also purchase a DVD of this broadcast, which will be viewable on computers and televisions. DMVstream.com is an independently funded project, meaning that your purchases and pledge of support go a long way in helping us to continue to broadcast live sporting events in the DMV. Thanks for stopping by and for your continued support.